Hey everybody, Larry Lawton here for a review of Money Heist. Before we get started, just make sure you check out our merch, check out our member programs, both on Patreon and YouTube. Still got books, they're really winding down big time, and we'll be ordering just the regular copies. So other than that, you won't be getting signed copies and numbered and limited editions. So anyway, let's get right to this Money Heist. I'm telling you, I just completed episodes 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. I couldn't stop. I wanted to get all the way to season 1 done, which was the first part. I guess they're calling it part. And I really did some deep dive into the show, and what a great show. I mean, the characters, everything that's going on is just, I'm going to be all over the place like I normally am, but I'm going to try to give it, I actually take notes on this show, believe it or not. That's how much I'm loving it. I mean, everybody, the gang, everything that's happened, I did not figure. I'm trying to see if I can, jump ahead and see what their next move is. And at the end of this season, there's no way I know what's coming. So I'm going to be able to jump into season 2, which is great when you have Netflix and you jump into a show a little bit late so you can binge watch it. I mean, that's just the way shows are today. But I'll tell you what. Let me tell you what happened. Season 9 in La Casa De Papel, which means the House of Paper, which is a mint, of course. But that's what that actually means, La Casa De Papel. I learned that actually in prison when I learned Spanish, Yo estoy aprendiendo español todo el día. 11 años prisión. So, a little bit, poquito. Yo hablo español poquito. Entiendes? Poquito más. But I'll tell you what, even the dubbing, I forget that it was another country. Little things, yes, but it doesn't take away anything from the show. You got this Rachel. Let me jump right in. Episode 9. It starts out, I thought it started out slow. But you got to remember, I'm watching them in blocks. I binge watch 4 episodes at a time. Like this one, I binge watched 5 episodes. 5 episodes today. And I'll tell you what, like anything, you get addicted to this show. And obviously with the money they're stealing, the professor, the police versus the criminals, it's kind of a cat and mouse game that I liked because I guess I was playing it myself a little bit. So I'm looking at it from not only a police's point of view, I'm looking at it from the criminal's end of the view. I'm trying to get in the head of the professor, so to speak, if you want to call it. I know it's a movie, but I'll tell you what, it is really cool. Tokyo and Rio story with the dad was pretty cool. How they connected and the dad didn't want Rio to be with Tokyo. Tokyo is a little bit of a psycho, and it shows a little bit, but I'd like that girl by my side. I'm telling you, she's got cojones. I'd like her by my side. This is when Berlin, the leader, finds out that Monica's not dead. And there was a big standoff in the bathroom, and when they're pointing guns at each other, and that's when, again, Tokyo shows me balls. Tokyo's got a big pair of cojones. I mean, she's a go-getter, man. That girl's got the fire in her and the guts. She's not. You could see the weakness in Rio. Totally could see the weakness. They tried to set him up. The professor figured it out, but they tried to set him up, saying a person, is going to be weak and to try for your weak points. Really, really good. And then the professor took another action and scared the Russian from giving his description, which was cool. And he said stuff in Russian, and he had said they had pictures and knew where the people were. So he really did that good by getting into the Russian's head, and then the Russian wouldn't draw the picture, and actually was deleting it before they even put it out. So that was pretty cool too. Great timing. Obviously they had the mic in the room, so they knew what was going on at that point. But that gets interesting later down the line. And then they also had the standoff with Denver. That was just a great scene in that bathroom. One of the best scenes. Then they had the Valencia project, they called it. The Plan Valencia. Which what it was is they just shot up the place. I mean, and they knew that they would be counting on the recordings, how much rounds were fired and all of that. So they had to know if these people were getting hostages killed. So what do they need? They need proof of a person being alive. So what do? They let the inspector, Raquel, come into the prison. And it was all a BS thing. They found the microphone on her. They knew they were going to find the microphone on her. That's when they tried to do the thing with, I think it was maybe even the next episode, with Rio, because thinking he was the weak link in that thing with the mom doing a video. But anyway, it was crazy because all they did was mess with her, Raquel. They had her sit in a chair and every hostage come out. You know, thinking back to that scene, it really dawned on me, what would have they did if they couldn't bring the last hostage? What happens if they really did kill Monica? Are they going to say, oh, well, she's just dead, and then the police think differently? So that was a pretty good, like, you know, it was something I thought about right away. I said, what would have they did? Because they called it proof of life. Then episode 10 comes along, and Helsinki was talking about Arturo's back door. Had me cracking up. You know, and it had me cracking up because I remember when I was in the joint, we had a gay guy named Mountain. And Mountain used to say, I like you. And he was a big dude, and he was kind of scary. And man, I mean big. He was like 6'5" and 300 pounds, and a gay dude. And he'd look at, I like you. I thought, oh man, this kid's in trouble. But it was so funny because that's kind of what Helsinki reminds me of. That kind of big guy. That, like, you don't want that guy to come after you in some way or another. And so when he said that thing about Arturo, of course, this is when Arturo and Monica reunite. He sees Arturo. I can't stand Arturo. I still, after this whole first season, Arturo's a weasel. He's the biggest weasel on the show. I just don't like his character. I mean, obviously, they're making him like that as a character. But they did what they did right, because they got me not liking the guy. I'll tell you that. It really, he's just like that kind of character that I can't, you know, I want to grab him by the neck and say, you pussy, just do it yourself, you know. I don't like him at all. Anyway, he reunites with Monica, but you could tell Monica doesn't like him. Monica's got what is really a syndrome. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. It's when the captor starts feeling affection and feelings for her captor. You could look it up. It's called the Stockholm Syndrome. And she sure does have it. There's no question about that. So anyway, then you had the inspector. This is the episode. Now, this is episode 10. This is when the deputy inspector, which is I think it's Angel. Angel suspects the professor. He suspects somebody. And you could just tell the way he went in there and he talked to him about a few things. You could tell he suspected him. So I knew something was coming up with that. And I ended up putting that Arturo's a punk and he wants everyone to do something. Every episode they make Arturo do something or come up with something, but he don't want to do it. He don't have the cojones to do it. He's always, let's do this, let's do that. Because he shocks me down in a later episode. And this is when Berlin gets mad when Raquel exposes he has a 14 to 25 months to live because he's got some rare disease. And I, you know, I'm confused with it because they don't make it a big deal in the show. It's got to come up down the line. My biggest thing is this robbery's going on. I'm thinking, how are they going to get all the seasons and episodes they got out of it? And keep your interest the way they are. It's blowing me away right now. Really is. It's blowing me away. Then you go to episode 11. Episode 11, which is actually Angel goes to DUI. That's when the scene opens. This is the opening scene. Opens with a party, letting the guard down. This is when they broke through the concrete, the robbery team, and they start partying and they let their guard down. That's when things start going wrong. And it really does start going wrong. And then here's another Arturo and another guy talking under the stall door. You want to talk about a stupid scene? They could have did this scene a lot better in a different way. There's no way these people, watching these people go to the bathroom. First of all, when I was in the federal government on Con Air or even in prison, they'll watch you shit. I mean, you got no privacy. When you are in a prison cell and the guards walk by, you could be taking a shit. They don't care. They'll look at you. It does not matter. I'm just letting you know, there's no way they would let those people go in there for privacy. Like they're not going to try to do something. And they're talking under the door. But they did have comfort zones there because they had cameras all over the place. They had their own cameras. The criminals had their own camera set up, which was really pretty cool. But under the store was really a stupid thing. I mean, it really made me laugh. But the professor had it all figured out. This is what was really cool. Again, Arturo's an asshole is what I write here. And he thinks he's a boss in this thing. But he's really a weasel. A little, I don't know what word I can use that's as bad as, he's a little punk. He's a little, he wants everybody to do his bidding. So along these first, now I'm into the episode 11, I can't stand Arturo. I just can't stand him. And it's not changing. My man Berlin, who's the leader, and I told you he's my favorite character because I'm watching him. And he still is lately, and you'll see why. But it's amazing because he's going a little bit psycho. He has sex with a girl. He has the sex with that girl. And that's kind of weird, and it comes down the line a little bit. And Angel and Raquel explode. Each thinks it's the other. This is Raquel wants Angel arrested. They have this massive blowout. Raquel thinks Angel is the plan. Obviously, Angel thinks Raquel is the plan because the only two of those who knew what was going on in this whole entire thing. The professor is one step ahead of him, knowing things nobody could know unless they had a plan. Well, of course, down the line, they find that out. And it was a really funny scene. You got Denver does a dance, a sexy dance. And it was kind of funny because, I remember when we were younger, we had pretty good bodies. And I knew some dudes who worked in, what they call that place? Oh, my God, where the male strippers would go. I forget it now. Oh, my God. But anyway, it was a Chippendale Dancers. I knew somebody who was a Chippendale dancer, and that's those hot bodies for girls. If you look up Chippendale Dancers, you'll know what I mean. Anyway, the professor and Raquel go to dinner, and it ends with the gun under the table. Because she had some doubts because Angel said a few things on their blow-up. That's the end of the scene. I'm thinking, how's he going to get out of this one? The professor doesn't disappoint. Jumping into episode 12, Raquel goes to the professor's apartment, or the cider warehouse. It's it's where he's supposedly he's making cider, probably alcohol or cider or something, what it is, and he's making it in a really like an old warehouse with a bed, all crap, bunk bed in there. It just looked like a little kind of a dive. But it was a great scene because he went there and he figured it out that she would do something like that. And she searched the whole place and there was nothing there. Then, of course, she falls into his arms, does all that bullcrap. But I'll tell you, it wasn't bullcrap because he got in it. And now he's got her trust. Anyway, then it was a good hot sex scene. Finds out the professor did, and the car break-in while driving drunk. This is the scene in episode 12 when Angel finds out, gets the information that it is the professor who broke into the cop car and left the fingerprint in there. And he heisted a fork when he had suspicions and went over to the professor's cider place. And he lifted, illegally, of course, a cop doing that doesn't surprise me. But he lifted a fork or an item to get a fingerprint off. And he did it. And here he is. He finds out from the person with the fingerprints in the labs, calls him and tells him, yes, they're a dead match, those two fingerprints. So he knows, this guy Angel knows it's the professor. And he's so drunk driving home that he comes and he has a massive crash. I mean, the scene was really cool. He drunk. They did that. They really made that drunk driving scene good. Because it wasn't just him drinking once. They had him putting messages on phones, even calling Raquel's mother, which was really cool. That really was cool. And leaving that comes into episode 13. And again, Arturo's trying to maneuver. He's always up to something, Arturo. He's the kind of guy you're gonna whack. You gotta whack that guy. And the hostages get out of their restraints. So when I'm watching this scene, I'm saying, oh my God, what's going to happen? This scene is a pretty good scene because they're all getting at it as restraints. And the professor screws things up with sex because he's not on the job. He's not watching. I guess if there's an ulterior motive, I don't know it yet, to be this close to the lead inspector. Obviously, it can't hurt. You know, that old saying is, you know, you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. It's kind of like that. But he's totally fell for this girl. And Arturo finds Denver and Monica. Oh, what a scene that was. They had a sex scene in the vault with Monica and Denver, and Arturo walks in on him, and she was bent over, and he's hitting her, and I mean, you know, sexually hitting her. I mean, he was going at her doggy style, and it was a crazy scene, and Arturo loses it. Well, Arturo wants to fight Denver. This was a joke, because this is old fat banker gonna fight a 22-year-old kid. I mean, it's not like myself who knows how to hit somebody. This guy's a banker, didn't know anything. But anyway, it's kind of funny because he goes in there and he brings the scissors in there. He had stolen scissors. And Denver's just like, you know, stepping away from him a few times, you know, moving him away and telling him, well, you better stop. So anyway, he throws him and he turns, and Arturo stabs Denver in the back. In the back. And Denver turns around. Because, listen, I've been stabbed. I mean, when you got your adrenaline flowing, you're going to keep going. Unless some arteries hit or something like that. He pulls the knife out, and he's about to kill Arturo. What does Arturo do? He shows me he's the weasel of the show. He snitches on the guys trying to escape. He snitches. So he could have screwed that whole thing up. He snitches. These guys, really, what these guys did in the restraints, the guys who took the restraints, they set it up when Oslo, and boy, Oslo's a big dude, big mean-looking dude, a guy hits him with a steel pipe and literally makes him brain dead. I mean, they level him, and they take his gun, and they get away, and the professor's out having fun, and he's not watching the computer, so nobody knows what's going on. Denver gets away from, you know, after Arturo squeals on them, but they end up running a cart into the door, one of the doors, because they're all rigged with explosives, and the door blows, and they run out, they get out, and the scene at the end of episode 12, I'm telling you, was great. This is, again, I gotta give Tokyo a lot of credit. Tokyo's got a pair of cojones, and I give the professor all the credit in the world here because they had it planned. They had this whole thing planned. They had a machine gun set up and she's the one who took it. They had a firefight. The cops are shooting in, they're shooting out, and they're going back, and Tokyo goes in back, runs up a heavy-duty machine gun, blows, you know, and they end up getting a steel thing, but they had the equipment. That was really good again. They had the equipment to cut, put braces, and weld it right away. Talk about being slick, quick, and knowing what you're doing. Totally prepped, unbelievably prepped for this show. For the robbery, not for the show. The show was a show, but the robbery. So I love that scene. But it just shows you how sex can screw everything up. I mean, that was just a really, really cool thing. And at the ending of that show, you know, obviously they bring, what's his name, Oslo in, and he's dead. I mean, you know, but that we find out later he's not dead. Well, we're gonna get into 13, but he's dead. I mean, his eyes, like, you know, he's like brain dead. He's not even moving. Whatever it is he got hit with a steel pipe. I seen kids get hit with steel pipes, nothing happened. I don't mean nothing, but I got hit with bats and stuff like that. I mean, trust me, I had 7 concussions in my life. Maybe that's why I'm all messed up. Now we're getting to the last episode, episode 13. I'm telling you, what a great episode here. This is the season-ending episode, and it had me like, what are they going to do in this episode? How are they going to make this episode different? What are they going to do different here to make it crazy? Obvious Helsinki takes the death rough, and again, I got to give Berlin a lot of credit. They had it set, nobody leaves, and that was idiots. I mean, I get the emotions of Nairobi and Tokyo and Rio. They're saying let them authorities come in and take them out. And Berlin, they all pull guns again. They're always pointing guns at each other. But the big guy, Helsinki, gets up and, listen, he goes, he'd rather die than go to prison. Boy, that hit home with me. Because I honestly don't know if I can go to prison again. I think I'd rather die. And I know that sounds a little dramatic, but it's not. I mean it. I'd probably rather die. And but anyway, he calmed the situation down. Now they're all done. He's just sitting there like a zombie, though, Oswald. I mean, I guess his part for the rest of the show is going to be a zombie. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to do him. Unless he pops out of this. I don't know. This is so cool. And you know what? It's funny because some of you guys who've watched this show know what's happening. But don't tell me, man. I don't even want to read those kind of comments. So the Angel recordings are starting to come out. This is the episode where Angel left a voicemail on Raquel's mother's phone. Of course, it was really cool the way they did that because people's phones, and it frustrates me, people's phones, they don't set their voicemails up, or their voicemails is full and you can't leave a message and you get frustrated. Obviously, he was too drunk to text her, but what does he do? He leaves a voicemail on the mom's phone. And here's where it gets dicey, and I go, oh my God. Well, the professor picks all this up, figures out this is what happened, because he's with the girl. He's with Raquel now. He's now like, they're dating, if you want to call that. And Berlin was screwing the hostage, and there's such division in the ranks in this episode. And here, again, it was the standoff with Oslo right in the beginning of the episode. You could feel the tension in the crew. They're not together like they were, and you feel it. You can, you're always wondering who's going to go do something stupid. You always have your loose cannons in a crew. But like I says, me as a leader of a crew, there was no loose cannons. There was one voice, one boss, one person that's going to make that decision. One person, and that was me. And that's the way it had to go. And I was pretty, very direct. No certain things could be done. I wouldn't take crap from anybody either. I'll pistol whip you, whatever I had to do. But anyway, the professor's going to kill Raquel's mom. I'm like, is he really going to kill her? And of course, he's a professor. He was going to put some stuff in her coffee to make her have a heart attack. And here's what confused me in this scene. They show the scene. He puts it in her, and then he's looking at her. And I don't know if it was just in his head that he knocked the cup out of her hand or she dropped it, because it doesn't seem like she said anything. You'd think she'd look at you like, what are you doing? You're hitting this cup out of my hand. So maybe that didn't happen. Maybe it really, she dropped it and didn't know she dropped it, because she apologized up and down, and he ends up he didn't want to kill her. He's really not a killer, the professor, at all. But what he did was, when he got up, he saw the note that the mom made, and he asked if he could use the phone, and he erased the message that was on her phone. Great move again. Unbelievable move, the professor. And I'll tell you what, so now then Raquel comes home, and she's like, it was kind of weird, though, to me. What mom asked the dude if you had sex with my daughter? I mean, if I'm dating a girl and they say, the mom says, have you had sex with my daughter? I'm going to look at her, oh, did you bed my daughter? Or, that's kind of weird for me. That one was weird. But the end of this thing was an unbelievable, well, it was really another good scene. I thought he was going to do it. Helsinki, I thought he was going to smash Arturo, at least in the shoulder or something with the pipe he had. Or I thought he'd break his shoulder, because I would have did something. But anyway, at the end of this episode, at the end of the season, is they get the tip. Raquel figures out where they had their training compound in the middle of nowhere, 100-acre ranch. But here's where I'm confused. At the end scene, when they're going up there, they had the scene of the professor and Berlin, and they looked like they were more than just the professor against Berlin, because he didn't call him Berlin. Berlin called him, I think, Sergio. That's what I'm getting. And it seemed more to it than what it is. And I don't know what it is. But when the police come in, it ended this scene, and they found the room, the actual planning room. And the professor is in the police car because he drove Raquel, who's the inspector, to the compound. She asked if he could drive her there. So how is this gonna open up? I have no idea. How is he gonna get out of this? How is he gonna find out it's not him? Did he plan for this one? I don't know. It's just a great ending. Parker, one of our members here on Patreon, is a friend, and all he told me when we had a video call, he's a high-end member, so I have video calls with people, and he actually told me, he goes, Larry, I can't tell you, you're going to love that. And I did. So thanks, Parker, for that one. That was a good one. But anyway, I got to go. Great show, Money Heist. If you have not watched Money Heist, go check it out. La Casa de Papel. Go watch it. Trust me, if you're Spanish, watch it. I'm sure you have. If you're not English, get to Netflix, watch it. I have nothing to do with the show. Nothing for it. I just love the show. I'd love for you to give me your comments on the shows that are past. Don't tell me anything about the beginning, but I'm going to be watching 4 episodes again and do another one a little quicker this time. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm loving the channel, loving it. If you take our videos and put them on your playlist, that helps. If you get some merchandise, if you get a book, you do something to help us out. We have a donation button up there. Let us keep doing what we're doing. So anyway, people, have a great day. I really do appreciate all your support. You know that. Love and respect to you. Stay safe out there, everybody. Have a great day. Larry out.